Okay, welcome everyone to techniques to successfully do business with the federal government. We do have Tyrone Williams, and hopefully joins shortly with Nadine Boone as well from the SBA. And we're very happy to have him here to explain this very important topic to everyone. But before we get going, we just want to talk about SCORE just really quickly. SCORE, the most important thing that SCORE does is share information with the small business community. We do that in 3 different ways. One is through the information on our website. There are templates you can download. There are articles you can read, blogs. There are videos and pre-recorded webinars. So I strongly suggest, if you've not been to the score.org website, to check it out. The other thing we do is offer workshops and webinars. Most are online, although we do have a few in person. Those are advertised through our social media and through our newsletter, which comes out several times a week, and also through our website. So please take a look if you haven't looked at the full offering we have this spring, because we have a lot of really great topics. The most important thing that SCORE does, however, is our mentoring. The mentors are volunteers, and they come to us with a variety of experiences and skills to share with the small business community. We're working with those that are trying to decide if small business is right for them. We do say, hey, come to us before you get that LLC so that we can make sure that you have everything in order so that you're ready to go. We're working with those that are in that planning phase, getting ready to get things going. And we're working with those that are already in business. And folks come to us for every business topic you can imagine. SCORE has a national reach. So if we can't find someone to help you in our local chapter, we will reach out to that database and find somebody that can help you. A beginning mentoring session is around 45 minutes, give plus or minus. And they're looking to find out about you, and they want to know what your goals and challenges are, and to help you put together a plan for those goals and challenges. The wonderful thing about SCORE is that you're working with a team. You're not just meeting one mentor. They reach back to each other. They bring others in to help fully give you all the information that you need to be successful. Getting a mentor is very easy. You just go to the score.org website. There's a blue box, put your zip code in, and that'll match you to the chapter that's nearest you. They will also ask you a couple quick questions, and that information will be used to recommend a mentor to assist you. We have a very nice, healthy crowd with us today. So we are using the Q&A button that's on the Zoom tab, Zoom bar, to submit questions that you want asked to our presenter. We will do our best to get through as many questions as we possibly can. Everything else can go in chat, but please use Q&A for questions you want asked to the presenter. The other point is that we are recording, and we will share this recording with you. You can also find this recording on the score.org/Boston website. It'll be under the local workshops tab, previously recorded as demonstrated by that graphic right there. I'm going to pull this down, and I am going to introduce you to Tyrone Williams from the SBA, here to share and teach us. Thank you, Tyrone.
Awesome. Good afternoon, everybody. I understand we'll have some technical issues here at the Massachusetts District Office. At any point, if I start breaking out, if somebody could raise their hand and inform me so I can go over that information or just reiterate anything that I may have missed. Just starting off, my name is Tyrone Williams. Thank you, Teresa, for the warm introduction and inviting me here to speak. Alongside me, my colleague Nadine Boone, who is the lead business opportunity specialist for our office. Once again, we are located in Massachusetts. Is going to be joining us shortly when she's able to sign into her Zoom link. My role here is the business development specialist. Once again, I work alongside Nadine Boone and Susan Laurie, who is our other business opportunity specialist. So once again, help businesses reach the next level, which is in our case, federal contracting opportunities. So the main goal of the SBA is to grow, grow, expand, and recover, right? So when we look at the 8A program, or we look at federal contracting opportunities, we primarily focus on 3 C's, a D, and an E. What we call the contracting, the access to capital, the counseling first, the counseling, and then the access to capital, and then you have disaster, loan opportunities, and then you have export loan opportunities. So the SBA has a wide range of opportunities and services that we cover. You can visit our national website here, sba.gov, to learn about all the amazing things that we do. I know I'm going to throw a lot of information at folks today. First, I'm going to highlight, how to do federal contracting with the government, or as the theme of this conversation is tips. And then I'm going to go specifically into certifications, and then maybe answer some of your questions around, okay, I am a particular type of business, right? I'm either hub zone or woman owned. What does that look like for me, and what do I need to do? So once again, just starting what the SBA can do for you, right? SBA funding options, our resource partner network, as Teresa alluded to, SCORE Boston is, some of our happiest partners. Just the federal government contracting opportunities. So where do I look? How do I get started? Where do I sign up at? What does it mean to be certified? SBA disaster assistance, like I talked about, 3 C's, the D, and then you have an E. The E is here to take your business global with international trade and exporting opportunities. And then just looking at our resource partner network, right? All of these folks are approved by the SBA, they're funded by the SBA. We have over 1,400 partners nationwide, right? We have 1,400 partner offices nationwide. And that ranges from, our Center for Women in Enterprise, our Small Business Development centers, our veteran-owned centers as well, and our SCORE centers, our SCORE network centers. I'm going to go through, like I said, specifically our different resource partners, where they are, how to access them, and then what's available as well. But you can go on our website, as you can see here, /local.assistance to see what is available and who is available. Just as Teresa alluded to, right, we have all these different resource partners, and you may ask yourself, who do I go to, and why do I go to them, and what do I get out of it, right? So the overall course objective, right, when you go through the services for the SBA, will help you answer several questions, right? How do you assess your business for selling to the federal government, understanding what you're selling and what the government is buying? What are the basic requirements that sell to the federal government, right? Are you a small business? Do you have the proper size NAICS code, right? Are you in a position to where your business is fundamentally sound to be able to do that type of business? Understanding what a UEI number is and how to get one for your business. The same thing with the NAICS code, right? Understanding the size of your business, right? If I want to grow, if I'm looking to combine my business, whatever the case may be, everything is centered around our NAICS codes for size purposes. What is the System for Award Management, SAM, which is one of our entry-level opportunities to get into federal contracting. It is one of the basic requirements to do so. So we'll get into SAM, how that works, what that is, and what ties into that. And then what are the small business size standards for your business? There's going to be a table available for you to research that for yourself. And then the resources available to help small businesses, right? So at some point when you're interacting with an individual from the SBA, some of these questions should be answered, or you should be directed to somebody that can help you not just answer, but take action on these questions as well. So assessing your business, once again, the traditional business format, we go to people like SCORE, right? Our business professionals who have done this, year over year. They help you build this format, right? Understanding the company information is, writing your executive summary, getting the structure proper, understand the market analysis, like I said, who you're selling to and what you're selling, and then understanding if there's a market for what you're selling as well, because you may be selling a product, but just not, framing it in the right way. So working with our SCORE counselors can help you give a different perspective, or help you understand a different perspective on how you're marketing yourself, which leads into the next role of marketing and sales. Once again, how you plan to grow your business, what are your current trajectories, service line products, NAICS codes, understanding where your business falls into what industry. Like I said, you may have the services to do construction and bakery, right? So understanding that those are 2 different NAICS codes. You may not be able to compete for different contracts in those different codes, right? It's just hypotheticals, right? But just understanding your NAICS codes, your SCORE counsel can help you, overcome that as well, right? And then we talked about financial projections as well. Is your business ready, right? What do you sell? As I spoke about, a lot of stuff's going to be reiterated, right? It's going to be the same song, dance, and pony, because everything we have is kind of finite in tune. And so what we do and how we help small businesses. So I'm going to reiterate. I'm going to pound it in on where you need to go, who you need to talk to, and what you need to be capable of to do so, right? So once again, do you have prior history, experience, right? You have cash, inventory of working capital, right? What is your past performance? Are you capable of fulfilling a government contract? And if you're not, do you have a plan to be able to do so? There are other opportunities, which we'll get into with joint venture and mentor protege programs, to where if you can't fill a federal contract, a government contract, maybe you know somebody or you're working with a company who can, and you're able to, work partially on that contract through one of these different agreements. And then understanding where do you find these contracting opportunities, right? I'm going to give you a hint. It is on SAM.gov, which leads into various other websites, Bidspeed, .net, GSA spins, which we'll go through in a second. So understanding if you're a small business, right? As I spoke about earlier, your size standards determined by your NAICS code, your business type, understand if you're a sole proprietor, if you're a partnership, your location. As Teresa alluded to, this is a national, industry, a national organization, right? The SBA is all over the United States, right? So understanding that wherever you are, that there's a service for you. The size restrictions when it comes to revenue and number of employees, non-qualified businesses, this could be, like we talked about, primary operations outside the US. And then typically non-for-profits are not considered for that, for this as well. So once again, working with your score counselor, you can go more into depth to understand what your NAICS code is and the size standards for your industry. Like I spoke about, there is a website. We're going to distribute the PowerPoint, make it available for folks. So once again, you have to memorize, but once again, everything is available on our SBA.gov website. So you can go here on a table and understand, okay, this is what I do, what I need to look at, and what I need to speak about with my score counselor on the topics that I don't understand. So just once again, looking at the cash flow, the finances for a government contract, right? We look at several things, not just the business itself, but do you demonstrate, strong characteristics, right? Is your cash flow considerate? I know if you're looking for a loan, they're going to look at your personal credit history first to see if you have the acumen to actually to do so, to handle a business, right? If your personal finances are well, of course, you're going to take care of other finances, right? So looking at the character, the cash flow, the collateral, capitalizations, and the conditions. If you're able to repay that loan, right? So once again, there are other alternatives and opportunities that come around this. Like I said, if you you only do sales of 100,000, but you want to expand to sales of $1 million, right? How do I fill that gap? Like I spoke about JV mentor partnership, JV joint venture or mentor protege partnerships. Working with your score counselors, institutions like Apex, your small business development centers to understand, okay, is there somebody in my industry that already does that, right? How do I get in contact with them? All these simple questions, how do I get from here to there, or what these resource partners are looking to do. So how does the government buy goods and services? They are the largest buyer in the world of goods and services, right? So there's different types of activity around this. So 23% of federal contract dollars are intended for small businesses. These are set-asides, right? You have full and open competition set-asides. You have small business set-asides, and then you have sole source set-asides. Okay, how do I obtain, or how do I know where do I fit in any of these set-asides, right? Going on our website, I'm gonna get to in a second as well, to get certified. Once you go on SAM.gov and you apply for a SAM.gov profile, if your NAICS code fills into a small business category, you will be certified as a small business on SAM.gov. To obtain other certifications, whether it be women-owned, veteran-owned, service-able veteran-owned, HubZone, all the other certifications that we have, it will be through certified.sba.gov. And then these sole source or these set-asides will be applicable to some of those. There's going to be a breakdown chart that says, okay, there's 3% here set aside for women-owned small businesses, right? And then understanding where do I find those contracts and how do I access those, right? So that information is also here. So as I just spoke about, leading right into the next chart, set aside for socioeconomic programs, categories and programs, women-owned small businesses, so 5%, as you can see here, our 8A program, which I'm going to speak about as well. I know we're talking about the general formatting of federal contracting. We do have another program, which is our 8A business development program. As you can see here, HubZone businesses are 3%, and then service-able veteran-owned businesses are 3%. All right, so just stepping into our 8A contract before we get too off topic is a 9-year business development program, which once again focuses on those 3 C's, D, and an E, the counseling, the access to capital, and then the contracting piece. the disaster assistance, and then the export piece. So once again, helping your business move along in every facet. For 9 years, the first 4 years are just the business development piece, and then years 5 through 9, we'll be working with you to help you obtain your own federal contracts. So we'll be, your resource partners will be working with you to obtain federal contracts to help scale your business, right? So once you're at that level to understand, like I said, all these different topics, what do I sell? How do I sell? Am I capable? Is my character match? Is my cash flow match, right? And then being a part of a business development program where you're looked at and you're already certified and you're qualified can just help you elevate your program. So your business. So more to come on that. Just looking at some of our agreements, right? You have different agreements. You have a basic order agreement. It's not a contract, expedited contract for uncertain requirements, and a blanket purchase agreement. At this point, we're not going to go too much in topic on this. This is more of a specialty or specific. So if we have more questions on this, once again, we can circle back to this, or we can speak to your school counselor or somebody in your resource network about this topic here. So marketing your business and identifying federal opportunities. Like I talked about, knowing your product and service, knowing what you sell. Like I said, you may have a service that operates in different NAICS codes, but certain NAICS codes may not be applicable to obtaining federal contracts. So once again, understanding what you're selling and who you're selling it to, and if the government is buying, and if they're buying it, maybe you're not marketing it the right way, right? So these are topics Apex SCORE can really work with you on. Center for Women Enterprises, Small Business Development centers can help you understand, right, the areas of government spending. Like I talked about, is there a high commodity for a certain topic? Maybe your industry is already doing that, right? Or if you're in a highly competitive NAICS code, and you're like, okay, I perform a service in a less competitive NAICS code, right? Am I marketing myself, for my positioning myself to be in the right place to obtain some of those contracts? So once again, working with these resource partners to truly understand where your business is and how to get the best trajectory out of this. All right. So, when you're going to meet with some of your resource partners, some of your SBA affiliates, some of the things that you want to do when you're being prepared or you're looking to make a good impression is being familiar with the agency you're targeting. Once again, you can build different relationships through either going to some of the events that we host. I know there's tons of events that are hosted either virtually in person by all of our resource partners, including ourselves, the SBA. For those who are located near the Massachusetts state, we're actually having a capital matchmaker at RCC tomorrow. So another opportunity for you to meet with banks, meet with other small business owners, to have that type of interaction and then learn more about what we do. And then once again, to help us understand about who you are and what you want to sell as well. Being able to deliver a concise elevator speech just means that you know what you want to sell, or what you are, who you are, what you are, and what you want to do. Presenting a business card with your certifications, it helps us, navigate and have an easier conversation with you on, the resources that are available and what we can do for you. And then having your capability statement included in your NAICS code. When we talk about capability statement, it's truly highlighting all the experiences, your past performance, and what you're capable of, right? Very well articulated. When you're on the SAM.gov profile, when you're making this profile out, that's super important. If somebody's going to, looking for your services and your NAICS code and your profile comes up and they're trying to learn more about your industry and your organization, and your capability statement just doesn't fully articulate what you're capable of course, I'm going to go look at somebody or a capability statement that stipulates, right, the past performance or some of those details that I know or I believe are going to be applicable for the contract that I'm trying to fill. So just understanding the more work you put into this upfront, the easier it will be for you on the back end. And folks like SCORE, like I keep reiterating, are some of the best folks to go talk to about getting started in this. So capability statement, I know I just talked a lot about it, right? Purpose. And it also has your proof of qualifications, your introduction, yourself and you as a business owner, the marketing, right? When you're giving this out, you want to wow folks, right? Let them understand, see visually, of course, with the words that articulate what you do. And then what it is, right? It's your business resume. It's a relationship builder, like we talked about. You're going to meet with tons of resource partners. The more integrated you get into, you're going to meet with tons of businesses, banks, resource partners, everyone. The more integrated you get into the small business world, right? and then how do you use it, right? Prime or teaming opportunities. I spoke about earlier, right? If you are a company that's looking to grow your business or scale your business, you don't know how, or you're just like, okay, I don't have the machinery, or I don't have the access to capital to do so. Either working to get yourself into the 8A program, or like I said, finding somebody who does that type of work with a joint venture or mentor protege program can help fill that gap, right? But once again, working with SCORE, working with Apex, understand, am I ready to do so? The core elements of your capability statement, once again, the title, the corporate data, the company data, past performance, and unique features. All the things that I've already spoken about before. Like I said, this is just more in-depth, granular details of stuff that you can speak about in your capability statement. So just some small tips, right? Limited to 1 to 2 pages. Ask feedback, whether from your SCORE counselor, from your SBA affiliates, whether it be from Apex, the Small Business Development Centers, Center for Women in Enterprise. Check your spelling and grammar. There are tons of online tools, Grammarly. Use government language, right? You can go on our website and look at, how some, capability statements have been written. You can use bullets, tables, highlighted sections, get creative with it, that it just get, that gets truly to the information, right? What you do, how you do it. Link to your website, of course, and then make it visually appealing for folks. Also, just looking at, our government marketing plan, we have a fiscal year of October to September. So during this time, first quarter, we're doing raising awareness and building relationships. And typically, this is the timeline you want to operate on as well. Through quarters 2 and 3, we do a lot of lead generation campaigns and response. And then in Q4, we do last minute offers and awareness campaigns. Well, this is the order that you should be doing, right, for a government marketing plan, just as a template and a standard. So now we're going to get into some more prime and subcontracting opportunities. As I alluded to before, right? What is prime and subcontracting? Prime is more the mentor, and then the subcontractor is more the protege, right? So you have a parent, and then you have a child company, or you have somebody that owns a contract and somebody that's working under the contract. So just looking at our prime and subcontractor relationships, a prime contractor by definition is a business who has entered into a prime contract with the United States. Subcontractor is a person or business that is awarded a subcontract to provide supplies or service necessary in the performance of another's contract. The prime controls the relationship. Prime and subcontractor need to work as a cohesive and high performance team. Planning and communication leads to more successful contracts. So we talked about past performance. We talked about JV, and we talked about MPP. You don't need to apply to be a joint venture or MPP to actually do some of this work, right? You can have, as we talked about, those different types of agreements that we laid out, where you can start building those rapport and that relationship and that past performance with these folks or with people that you want to work with. And then, when you get into a position to where either you want to stay subcontractor, you'll have that experience, or if you want to get into the prime contracting piece, like I said, you can go then do a JV or MPP officially, which is done on certified.gov, right? What are the details? How do I get certified? How do I do this stuff? Everything that we do is on SBA.gov or on certified.sba.gov. To get certified for, like I said, HubZone, women-owned, or whatever the case may be, certified.gov. To do a joint venture or MPP, certified.gov, right? You don't have to go through the process of certified.gov, and we don't. We would prefer, like we said, the past performance piece before you go down that route. And just to elaborate a little bit on that, the first 18 months of it is the opportunity to perform an annulment, right? So that just means we're talking about getting married. You get the opportunity to work with somebody under the JV mentor protege program for 18 months, and then in the relationship, let's just say, can't start free. But after that 18-month, then we start talking about, consequences and potential stipulations. So just to kind of mitigate that, like I said, you can do some of the work past performance or some of the work to create past performance ahead of, signing that contract, getting into a JV or MPP, and then potentially being in a situation you don't want to be. So tons of opportunities, like I talked about, working with your SCORE counselor, working with Apex to understand what works for your small businesses. Everybody's small business is unique. There are tons of unique opportunities that come with this as well. So please take everything with, like I'm saying, with a grain of salt, and work with your SCORE counselor on specific topics surrounding this. All right, so as I just alluded to, right, building capacity to land a subcontract, working with the prime, teaming agreement, which is the piece of becoming or signing the joint venture or the mentor protege program piece. And then, enhance past performance by gaining experience and expanding opportunities. If you either want to stay subcontracting, if that's your niche and that works for you, or if you eventually want to grow into a prime contractor opportunity. Past performance doesn't necessarily need to be done only at the federal level. We do look at the city and state level. So if you're looking to do federal contracting, you should highly recommend that you look into getting contracts with the city and the state first, or getting certified with the city and the state as vendors to do some of that work to show that you're capable of accepting some of these contracts. So it'll make it a little easier for you. So how can the government help? There are tons of resources. I just alluded to all the resources that are available. You have local SBA district offices. You have one here in Massachusetts, which me and Nadine are at, 10 Causeway Street. You have PTAC, which is also known as APEX. It's our accelerator program that helps with government contract assistance, consulting, and workshops, and information and resources. They also have training opportunities if you're a member of APEX, where you can get certificates for paid training through the SBA, right? So some of these courses may cost $70, $35, right? Being a member of APEX grants you a voucher to obtain some of those trainings, which could lead to other certifications. Then we talk about marketing resources. As you can see here, beta.sam.gov is just sam.gov. Federal Procurement Data System, subcontracting networking system. Like I talked about, okay, where do I go? Maybe I already signed up for sam.gov, or maybe I already done the certified piece. So right now I'm just looking for federal contracts. Where do I go? How do I find these things? On the sam.gov website, once you have a profile, there is a link at the top of your page that outlines all of these resources here, marketing and other resources. The links to USA Spending, GSA Subcontracting Directory, all on your sam.gov profile. These links will bring you to the same place. And once again, you can see what works for you, what's applicable. Okay, I want to look at somebody else's capability statement, right? I want to understand who's doing what in other industries, who's buying what, all that information that we talked about can be found here. Looking at your competitors, looking at people who are in your current NAICS codes or size and what matters, right? So like I said, this information will be available to folks so you guys can take the next step to either take a next step or be prepared to take a next step. All right, so some of the smaller things, right? Like, how do I get started? Like I said, the first thing is signing on up to sam.gov and obtain a unique entity identifier, or UEI, and then obtain a cage code, and then registering that under the SBA's dynamic small business profile. All right, as I just spoke about, finding and promote and promising opportunity on sam.gov. It was previously a little less integrated with, I believe there's 7 websites that you have to choose from that are federally certified to obtain these different contracts. Like I said, now I'll integrate it into sam.gov so you don't have to look anywhere. All you gotta do is submit your bid and wait. Prepare if you need to for certain aspects. You can request a debrief to understand why you won or you didn't lose, or why you won or lost. Like I talked about, evaluate the marketing and bidding strategy, and then look for strengths and weaknesses, right? You guys have all of this information at your fingertips now. You're going to have the ability to look in a forward motion to say, okay, this is where I want to go. This is who's currently doing it. How do I either be on their level or how do I exceed their level? And then, okay, I want to be able to do that, but maybe I'm just lacking the understanding of certain aspects on how to do that. We do have for our 8A folks, the 7J Management and Technical Assistance Training Program and the requirements for it, right? So like I talked about, different types of certifications that come along with this. Inside of the 7J Management and Technical Training Assistance, you're going to have access to resource partners under the SBA umbrella, right? As I spoke about, small business development centers, the Hub Zone program, SCORE mentors, veteran business outreach centers, the veteran business development centers, the women business centers, and of course our other business development centers. As I spoke about, the 3 C's, the D and the E, all encompassing when it comes to federal contracting, and we have resource partners that service every aspect of that. We're going to get more into detail as I spoke about these different resource partners here and some later slides. Once again, if I fit into this, what does it look like, or I would like to learn more, don't worry, we're going to have more details on that. Eligibility, who can participate. Businesses that are in our program receive, the one-to-one counseling and a wide range of activities. As you can see the list here, I believe the 7J is for our AA participants or for our certified participants. And then once again, you get assistance in our accounting, marketing, strategic, financial analysis, the same services that you can receive, like I said, from SCORE, Apex, just different types of certifications, different levels. So now we're going to go into our different resource partners, just starting first with the SBDC, Small Business Development Centers. So once again, they provide training and counseling to small businesses working with the SBA to develop and provide informational tools, support business startups and existing business expansion. They deliver professional, high-quality, individualized business advertising and technical assistance, problem solving, strategy operations, and then increase productivity and innovation, right? So once again, if you're a small business and you're just looking to get some questions answered, these operate out of our UMass schools. So you'll find some local looking into that. Like I said, this PowerPoint will be distributed, so you don't have to memorize any of this information. But more so memorizing, you have questions around specific resource partners and what they do for your questions as well. Actually, Miss Teresa, I know we spoke about maybe taking a moment to potentially answer some questions. I think I want to take a break here before I get into the rest of the resource partners.
Yeah, I do have some questions. Do you know, is there a minimum number of years you need to be in business to be a subcontractor for on a federal contract?
Hey, Nadine is here. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Was able to get into the webinar, Teresa and Tyrone, but I was not able to get the video. I've got a triangle here for the video. So subcontracting is a great place to start with government contracting, whether it's city, state, or federal, especially federal. But in our ecosystem, a small business is any business that's been in business for 2 years or less. And so, if you're thinking about subcontracting, you get to work into the space with a prime contractor as a second or third tier without you risking your money and your reputation. You get to find out what it's like when somebody else is is the prime contractor. So there is no time, but you got to have experience if you're going to be subcontracting.
Okay. Um, where do you go to find out which government agencies are buying your services? Where can you look that
That's
up?
a Thank you. That is a great question. In Tyrone's PowerPoint presentation, I saw usaspending.gov. Now, you're going to need to know your 6-digit NAICS code, which is also your industry NAICS code. Thank you, Tyrone. Right there. Yeah. USA Spending is a great place to find out what the government is purchasing. All government contracting, whether it's city, state, or municipal, and city is municipal, so city, state, or federal, is proactive marketing. You know what your industry is, you know what your capability is, and that is the goal for you to find out who is buying what you are selling, for you to get the foot in the door. And there is tons of information online. But, I heard Tyrone speaking to you. So once you create a SAM profile, and I hope I'm going to answer some other questions, Teresa. A SAM profile is you put in the government on notice to say, I want to do business with the United States federal government. So it's a registration. That's what that is. But then you need to figure out, where do you fit in the ecosystem as far as certification? Are you woman owned, economically disadvantaged woman owned, HUB zone, veteran, service disabled veteran owned, or are you interested in the 8A business development, socially and economically disadvantaged? Nobody can figure that out for you except for you. Where do you fit in the ecosystem? So there is a registration and then there is a certification. And the PTAC, as well as FPDS and USA spending, can help you to determine who's buying what you're selling. But if you do not have the capability, the capacity, or the capital, aka money, to perform on a contract today, when you say you are interested in federal government contracting, you might be a candidate for a mentor or a protege, most likely a protege. So I'm going to stop right there.
Okay. Is an MBA certification through the state sufficient, or do you need to have a federal certification?
Would you repeat that, a MBA?
MBE, sorry, MBE.
Okay. Okay. MBE, from what I know at this point, is a city and a state certification. And I think the Department of Transportation has maybe a MBE certification. I'm not 100% sure. The certifications that the SBA market are 8A Business Development, which I call the 10-foot ladder. That's our premier program for 9 years of your life, 9 years only. Hub Zone, historically underutilized business zone. Your principal office will need to be in a hub zone. Woman owned, economically disadvantaged woman owned, veteran owned, and service disabled veteran owned. And when Tyrone was talking about 7J program, 7J is for the 8A certified. It is also for the economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business and for certified, and for the hub zone certified.
Okay.
They are
How long
the,
does,
hmm,
please
go.
continue.
No, go on, next question.
How long does the bidding process typically take?
I really do not know. SBA is not the buyer. We are the certifying official. And so when you go to FPDS, Federal Procurement Data System, and you look at sources sought, that is the federal government seeking sources, and they will tell you what certifications they are looking for. They will put a date for you to submit your bid. And how long it's going to take them, I have no idea. You need to start looking at solicitations to see. And as I heard Tyrone mention, if you are not the winning bidder, you are able to ask for a debriefing as to what do you need to do better or what do you need to do differently. And you have a very small window of opportunity to ask the procuring agency to honor that debrief for you. Thank you.
Okay. As a new business, how do you find prime contractors to partner with?
So prime contractors are normally your Fortune 500. Let's think about General Dynamics. Let's think about Raytheon. Let's think about Walgreens, CVS. When you are thinking about prime, we are talking about those Fortune 500 companies. When we are talking about government contracting, we are talking about all United States federal agencies at the federal level or the uh, Commonwealth of Massachusetts has contracting opportunities, as well as whatever cities that you are living in, they have contracting opportunities. Before you are looking at federal contracting opportunities, you really should be bringing some past performance to the table. And I heard Tyrone mention past performance. You get past performance by trying to work locally or in subcontracting. Locally means city and state contracting, where when a federal agency asks you for references, you can say, this is what I have done in contracting, and this is what I have successfully done. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and let Tyrone continue, and then we can come back to more questions later. Would that work?
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes.
So with our time, I'm gonna speed it up just a tad bit. Some of the stuff, like I said, is repetitive. Um, um, so next we'll go into our hub zone. So once again, launched in 1999, the Hub Zone program fuels the development of distressed communities by providing small businesses preferential access to federal government contracts. So like I talked about, there's 3% of procurement are set aside for Hub Zone certified businesses. And as Nadine spoke about, are your primary residence for your businesses. If your business needs to be in a Hub Zone located area in order to receive this certification. Um, then once again, hub zone communities benefit from jobs and investment. And it's okay, how do I go apply to be a hub zone certification, to get a hub zone certification? Uncertified at SBA.gov. There's an application process there that can help you determine, once again, if you are in a hub zone. There are also maps available for you to, once again, we'll go to in a second to understand if you're actually located in a hub zone. All right, so just a few details here. If you qualify for a set aside or a sole source contract or a 10% price preference and a full or open competition available only for certified hub zone firms. You're able to build past performance history as a prime or subcontractor. We talked about joint venture or partner by contributing valuable certification to a non-hub zone set aside proposals. Access specialized training and assistance reserved only for SBA certified firms, and then making an impact in an underserved area by investing in the community and creating jobs. So these are also some perks when think about, if you're in a position to move your business. So you're thinking about, okay, where should I start my business? Like I said, there are maps available where you can actually, go ahead and get the upstart here, and maybe you have a leg up. Like we talked about here, be able to create new jobs, create different types of impact, and able to create past performance, right? So, hit a bird with two birds with one stone in this case. And then, there are 6 different designations for hub zone, qualified census tract, qualified non-metropolitan county, Indian land, disaster area, redesignated or transition area. And then new in 2020, the governor's designated rural areas. The top 10 states with hub zone firms, as you can see, Virginia, California, Texas, Maryland, where Massachusetts is not actually on the list. And I know for some folks out there in Rhode Island, but once again, there are opportunities out there where it's not in the top 10. But as you can see, there is a large market for it on the East Coast. So once again, if you're thinking about relocating, if you're thinking about starting your business, there's just some information that you can look into to kind of get your head wrapped around. And then once again, to be able to do contracting in a hub zone or as a hub zone, you must meet the SBA size standards as small. Once again, that's your NAICS code. Be 51% owned and controlled by a person who is a U.S. citizen or a community development corporation, agricultural cooperative, Native Hawaiian organization, Alaska Native Corporation, or Indian tribe. For your principal officer, you need to lease or own a facility, as we spoke about, and a designated hub zone. And if you have to be employing hub zone residents, ensure at least 35% of the firm's employees reside in a designated hub zone. Application process, as I spoke about, going on sam.gov, gather the proper documentation, and then going over to certified.sba.gov to apply for the hub zone certification. In order to stay eligible for hub zone, you must complete an annual recertification attestation, participate in program examination at least once every 3 years. More often, if they receive hub zone set-aside contracts, let's notify the SBA if their business is involved in a merger acquisition. Not drop below the 20% hub zone residency while performing on a hub zone contract. As you spoke about, 35% employment for 35% of your employees must be a resident of hub zone area. And then you must comply with all regulations. Firms may also continue in the program for as long as they qualify, fall in and out of compliance throughout the year, but must meet eligibility requirements each year on the certification anniversary date. All right, so moving on to SCORE. So what is SCORE? SCORE is business development mentoring. nation's largest network of volunteer export business, the largest network of volunteer expert business mentors is dedicated to helping small businesses plan, launch, and manage and grow their businesses. SCORE is a nonprofit organization that is driven to foster vibrant small business communities through mentoring and educational workshops. SCORE mentors offer area-specific advice at no cost, financing, human resources, business planning via email, telephone, and video. SCORE mentors, all experts in entrepreneurship and related fields, meet with their small business clients on an ongoing basis to provide continued advice and support. SCORE provides a wide range of services, including training, webinars, online workshops, courses on demand, and a library of online resources. As Teresa spoke about, they're about 45-minute sessions. I will tell you personally, as a small business owner, I had used SCORE when I first started my business. It was the best decision I ever made. Lynn Jedrin over in Western Mass was my SCORE mentor. Once again, great guy. I've been told that the Northeast has some of the best SCORE mentors available. So once again, just even speaking with somebody who has that entrepreneurial mindset to help you, once again, form your ideas and mold those ideas. Like I said, it's no loss of you to you. So once again, this opportunity that you can take, and you can reach out to Teresa to learn more. Once again, I know she directed you folks to the website to understand who your closest SCORE counselor is as well. Like I said, fairly painless process and something I think you should invest in soon. Just looking at veteran-owned small businesses and then service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. Veterans Business Outreach Center program designed to provide entrepreneurship development services such as business training, counseling, resource partner referrals, and service members to veterans, National Guard and Reserve members, military spouses, various military branch members. And once again, they have 28 organizations participating in this cooperative agreement, serving as veteran business outreach centers, offering workshops, training, counseling, and mentorship opportunities. There are several types of programs that they offer. Transition assistance programs. They help transition service managers at military installations to conduct boots to business classes to service members and military spouses. Pre-business plan workshops. So once again, helping you build your business plan prior to you actually being in that space. Concept assessments, once again, just some programming to help you understand the capabilities or what you want the capabilities of your business to be. And then business plan preparation, helping you develop that business plan over the course of 5 years, utilizing their template, understanding that you will go over such elements as legal, financial, human, strategic, organizational structure. It's every facet that, the SBA would want to cover to make you a successful small business. And just once again, they offer, the wraparound support services, comprehensive feasibility analysis, the entrepreneurial training, the mentorship, and other business-related services as well. Veteran Business Outreach Center, there is a vet certification with the SBA allows service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses to complete for federal source and set-aside contracts. So once again, if you qualify, you can go on certified.sba.gov and apply for this certification. First and foremost, I will also reiterate, sam.gov is your first step before applying for any of these certifications. Certification benefits. Once again, we talked about the sole source set-asides. There's at least 7% of its contracts each year specifically for certified VOSBs and VOSBSs. And then you can also compete for contracts under other qualifying socioeconomic programs. So you can learn more about the website, like I said, or with your SCORE counselor that can help highlight some of these activities as well. Just a little bit more about the program. You can self-certify, like I said, on sam.gov. When you fill out your sam.gov profile, if you are diligent in your work, you can self-select certify as a small business as any of these different certifications as we talked about. Yep.
Tyrone?
Yep.
There are no self-certifications for federal government contracting. None of our programs at this time are any longer self-certifications. Veterans, service disabled veteran owned, I believe changed in January of this year. Yeah, so nothing is self-certification. The SBA, every one of our programs for federal government contracting now has some portal online for the small business owner to upload their documents. After registering in SAM, you have to have a SAM profile, a active SAM profile, before you can register for veteran owned, service disabled, veteran owned, before you can certify for registration, woman owned, economically disadvantaged woman owned, hub zone, or 8A business development. So this is not an overnight, this is a process.
Awesome.
This is
Thank
a
you,
process.
Nadine. That's
You're
why she's the
welcome.
lead here in the office. So as you heard from Nadine herself, you now have to go through those two different websites, like we talked about, setting up your SAM.gov profile, and then when you're ready and you feel that you're eligible, going over to the certified.sba.gov to fill out some of those other applications, which Nadine spoke about, will require you to fill out some information, including upload some of that validation information. Just going a little more into veteran business outreach centers. They have GSA oversees the reuse and donation of federal personal property. It also manages, these different websites, which once again will allow you to do some type of donation, either surplus of property, which you can get write-offs for, once again, or disbursement, including verification.
Let's hurry through the PowerPoint presentations, Tyrone, if we can, because we look like we have quite a few more questions. But the surplus, GSA surplus, is for the veteran-owned small business as well as the 8A business development. Is not for all of the certifications. So that's all I wanted to say about that for anybody that may ask that question. But GSA is General Services Administration, and there is a federal surplus personal property donation program that is in conjunction with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Thank you, Nadine. I was just noting that, and I'm looking through my slides now. And I want to talk about just two more things, right? Women-owned small businesses, right? These opportunities here.
I think Tyrone just froze. Well, how about if I ask you some more questions, Nadine? Can we do that?
If Tyrone is speaking, so, I'm sorry, Tyrone was speaking. So, Teresa, you may ask additional questions.
Okay. I think I've definitely lost him. Okay. Yeah, Nadine, I don't even know if this is something you can address from the SBA, but there's a lot of exchange in the chat about being taken advantage of by the prime contractor, being used to obtain.
I cannot address that. That's going to be a personal
Okay.
relationship. People will need to learn the rules, as I like to say. People will get up. You froze, Tyrone. Tyrone, yeah, and I see we have lost you totally. Tyrone just came in. I'm sorry that to interrupt here in the middle. You will need to wake up early. And that's the thing about government contracting. Are you willing to wake up early and stay up late to learn the rules? You need to know what people are saying and not be so hungry that you will sign on the dotted line before you really know what you're doing. Tyrone talked about dating and marriage. I talk about that all the time. You date before you marry. You try to learn if you have the same work ethics of anybody that you're trying to do work with. You're not so hungry that you're going to jump into a relationship with someone before you've had coffee, dinner, or try to find out if they really can assist you in being successful, if they really want to teach you to be successful and help you along the way. Is there synergy between the two? That's all I can say about that. Date before you marry.
Okay. Is finding a local and state contract the same as finding a federal contract? Is that process
No,
the same?
no, not at all. Not at all. The city, the state, and the federal are three totally different days of the week. Do I make
Okay.
that? I don't know how to make that any clearer, or maybe even months of the year.
Okay, great. Can you have more than one certification?
Of course, if you are eligible, as I talk about finding where you fit in the ecosystem, you can be woman owned, you can be hub zone, you can be veteran owned, you can be 8A business development, you can be all of these. If you fit those pockets and you have the experience and you meet those eligibilities. And I also want to say that everything you've heard Tyrone and I talk about today is on the SBA website under federal contracting.
Okay. I think that we've gotten to all of the questions that are would apply to everyone, which was our goal.
And so I saw
Is
someone
having a
just had
go
Teresa,
ahead.
someone just has something about, is a vendor ID all that you need to bid on federal contracts? We've been talking for an hour that said sam.gov is a registration, and then you learn where you are in the ecosystem and you certify. So a vendor ID is not all that you need. So again, I'm going to point you to to SBA.gov under federal contracting to look at basic requirements. And Teresa, I have a email that I've put together about basic requirements. But keep in mind, everything I'm talking to you all about is federal government contracting. We are right at 1 o'clock, and I
Mhm.
think we are just about to end. Is that correct, Teresa?
Yes, and you're gonna and Tyrone's gonna send me the presentation and your handout, and we're gonna send all that information to everyone today, along with the recording and where to reach out if you need help. So yes, we are gonna wrap up, and I just want to thank you, Nadine. And if you'd thank Tyrone for us, that would be
He hears
wonderful.
you. He's here
Oh,
in my office. He can hear you. Thank you,
excellent,
everyone.
excellent. Okay, well, thank you again, and again, we will get this information out to everyone, and thank you for joining us today.